Yeah, I don't hear it.
You know what's funny though is that I've got an automatic ducking software so that when you talk, it still comes through. Guys, welcome back to the show. I've got with me just off screen, I've got Filip from thebeard.be. You probably know him from the REDEN Coin project, and we're going to talk a bit about REDEN Coin today. But first, before I do that, I wanted to thank you guys. You see right here on my YouTube's analytics page and how subscribership has just been going through the roof. Guys, I'm so humbled. I'm so thrilled and so humbled that you've chosen to take this journey with me and talk to different coin founders and projects in a very unbiased and a very open and really kind of no-nonsense way. It validates my hunch that we need more transparency, we need more honesty, and we just need more conversation, open conversation with coin founders, not necessarily with paid promoters. So thank you again. Really appreciate it. Hey, Jeremy's in the house. Brandon Coin's in the house. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate the support. And again, this onward and upward. I really appreciate that there's been so much community support. We passed 3,000 subscribers earlier this week, and I didn't go out of my way to say it. I need to say it now. Really appreciate you guys. So it's for you. A little bit of music. Briefly also wanted to call out Zellcash, their advisor, Dan Keller, for jumping onto a live stream. This is a first, guys. Someone openly about their project and then said, you know what? I'm not going to stand for that. I'm jumping on a live stream right now. We're going to talk about it. And knew that they had an open mic and a home here on the channel to be able to talk about their project and be unfiltered and uncensored. So kudos to the Zellcash project for being game to do that. They'll be back on the show on Monday when we do our Mystery Mining Mondays, because we're going to have their founder, just spoke to Scribbles himself, Miles, out in the UK. He's going to be stateside as of this weekend. So as of Monday, he'll be fresh as a daisy, no more jet lag, and he'll be ready. Thomas, you should know already, on Twitter, my tag is Seth not giving away GPUs Estrada. So guys, without further ado, I want to jump into the main event. So you tuned in because you want to talk to the man himself and you want to get this unfiltered. I can't say I blame you. So go ahead and smash that like button. Give all the applause. I don't know, hit the tip jar. Do whatever it is you want to do to welcome Filip the Beard from REDEN onto our show, guys.
Hi, Seth.
Hey. Filip, let me get you full screen here.
Okay, cool.
And then alrighty. So here we are, guys. Got the new background over here. We should still have our comments down below. If you're not on Discord, you'll notice they should be over there, just underneath Filip. You'll have your comments pushed live to us from our Discord channel right there. And really appreciate your participation over in the Discord channel. That helps make this show even better. Filip, welcome.
Hi, Seth.
That was a really long intro, I know. And
yeah,
a lot of it had nothing to do with REDEN, so I apologize. We've got this crazy...
Congrats on the 3,000 followers, man. That's a nice milestone. So.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's been something that, again, kind of validates a hunch that I've had that we've really got to be pushing harder to have transparent conversations with blockchain founders and with developers specifically, that we can't just take everything at face value. The ICOs of 2017, I think, really showed that a lot of people got fleeced, right? They got taken for a lot of money. And then regulatory bodies stepped in. They're necessary growing pains. But I think that for people who are reasonably well-read or intelligent, they can watch conversations like these and they can start to form educated opinions for themselves. So appreciate you being
Absolutely. Game. Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's completely in the interest of our project also. So I don't know what you know already about REDEN, but I'll let you lead the conversation. And but we are basically going for the same thing that you're doing. So trying to inform the public about what's the community, basically what is out there, and if it's something that should be considered or totally not. So
yeah, awesome. Well, let's do this then. Let's start from the very top. So you go by the alias The Beard, and I think that comes from a different project you've been working on for the better part of 10 years, more than 10 years now, right?
Yeah. In October will be 11 years that I'm a photographer. So yeah.
Wow, but who's counting? Man, 11 years exactly. That's nuts. Yeah. Oh,
that's a long time. It's a struggle. It's a freelance life. So it's 1 month you get loads of jobs. Other month you get nothing. So
right, yeah. I hear you. Anybody who follows me on Instagram, they probably saw me tagged by an art school that had me conduct a multi-camera live stream for them, and they were like, "Hey, thanks, Seth Estrada." There's an entire category of people who only know me as the live stream multi-camera guy, and
cool.
So I get it. There's probably a number of people in your life who were like, "Well, yeah, totally. Philip is he's the photographer, the video guy, right?"
Yeah, well, yeah, the photographer mostly, because I don't do that much video. I have people I work with for video, of course, but myself, I just do photography. And then I started 3 months ago a little YouTube channel on the side that came out of the fact that I got scammed on one of the projects I was in. So then I started to do coin reviews, project reviews.
Awesome. Okay, so we got some really great synchronicity then here. Maybe we'll have to do a joint review at some point in the future. But today, this is your show. This is your project. So we've got to put you in the hot seat to answer the tough questions.
Well, actually, it's not. First of all, it's not my project. It's a community project. I have to be clear on that. And for that, I have to give you a little bit of backstory. So on April the 1st, yes, the date I know, there was IODev that started a project called REDEN. It was supposed to be a project for decentralized AI. And he got quite a following, had quite a hype and all that kind of stuff, and he basically exit scammed after 4 days.
Wow. That didn't take long.
No. He sold for about 7 or 8 Bitcoins, something like that. It's somewhere in the white paper exactly the amount that he sold masternodes for. And well, when he had enough, he killed the Discord, he killed the website. We just in time could save the code from GitHub, and we had community Discord come up in 2 or 3 hours. We had half of the community back in there, and from there on we started forming REDEN, which so basically all of us in the team, we didn't set out to start a project.
Okay, so it sounds like you wanted to right a wrong. You wanted to keep people from being damaged.
Well, actually, I think it's just the right people came together at the right time, and there was enough traction, and we all had enough of being scammed in one out of two new projects that you start to mine or you start to invest a little bit in. You take the risk, of course, you know that it's probably going to be something like that, but still. And well, we had in the first 24 hours, we had 15 people in the team that decided, okay, let's go for it and have a community. And because I was doing escrow in the well, I'm not supposed to say that's not official, but I was the intermediary in between the Bitcoin and the other coins that were being traded. People turned to me a bit because they knew me, they knew who I was, and that I started answering questions. And from there on, I became a bit the spokesperson. Now it's spokesperson, CEO, whatever that means. But people see me as a leader of REDEN, but it's a community coin. We take all decisions, especially important decisions, with the community. So
awesome. Well, it's great to know that there's that level of trust that you've already built in the community before launching your own project. That sort of visibility and trust by having done any kind of intermediary work, whether it's working as a broker or working as working in escrow for different kinds of deals. I know, for example, Open Bazaar. Anybody who has the kind of visibility of being being not that they actually call them not, gosh, what do they call them? But it is like an escrow agent in Open Bazaar. Yeah, where you have that kind of visibility. You help build trust, right? I mean, and it's kind of sad because all of crypto or in blockchain technology was supposed to erase trust, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's no great solution for the same level of trust that's missing when you do a cash transaction. Because when I hand you like $500 or something, and you don't hand me the product we agreed on, then you don't get well, you're still scammed. So it's true that we don't have the trust. We don't need to trust for the blockchain itself and all its taken in the ledger and in the blockchain, but we still have the human interaction, the human level between the end users that is now actually not trusted.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance, and these growing pains, I think, are going to continue for a little longer. So it's great to know that you've already been kind of on that edge, right there in that gray space, right, where people can see you. And we want to start getting, like, ironically, we want to get rid of that need for visibility and that need for building up a public following and having that kind of trust. But thank goodness you're here right now. Let me do this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really fast, and of course, our viewers can see exactly what I'm doing as well. But oh, wow, why is it saying desktop 1? Okay, so I'll share some computers down there as well. And okay, nope. All right, so you should be able to see the REDEN site.
Yes.
Okay.
I do see that on the REDEN site.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I had Windows was kind of, it was telling me that one of my screens was not what I expected. So I've got the REDEN site here, and I've got the white paper open just next to it. And with those as a backdrop, what I'd like to do is ask you a couple of quick questions. But Brandon Coyne called out a really great question. It's not typically the way that I do my interviews, but I really appreciate the way that he framed this. So let me ask you this one. This is kind of a one-off. We'll try it out. But Brandon Coyne wants you to give him a high-level overview. So if you can do this in like 30 seconds or less, what's the purpose of REDEN?
Okay. The purpose of REDEN is to de-risk the altcoin community, to take the risk out of investing in cryptocurrencies, in new projects especially, by doing reviews, being sort of escrow service on project level, not on low-level user level, and in the long future, providing a sort of collateral fund for new projects that are not known by the investors, to put up a security, something like that, that if the project go belly up, that the investors still have some value of the coins that they bought.
Awesome.
That's really high level elevator pitch. That's just too long for two levels, but hey.
No, that's great. That's really great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this back down to some more granular questions that help us unpack that high level statement and help us get out of the 30-second elevator pitch and start to really wrap our heads around what REDEN actually does, right? Because we can make these high level statements, and that's one of the problems that I think the ICOs have. One of the things that ICOs have maybe taught us through sad experience now is that high level statements can be very ambitious, right? And very noble. Yeah. But then we have to start asking granular questions about, all right, how are we going to achieve this high level vision? So let me start with just the big problem. Now, this is kind of, if you've seen the interviews that I've done before, this is kind of how I start the interview and we start to talk about some other low level questions. But to start, if you were in Silicon Valley pitching a panel of VCs, they're going to ask you, right? They seem to never differ, right? Doesn't matter if you're in front of Y Combinator or you're in front of Techstars or some other, right? Some other chain. What was the big problem? What was the biggest pain point and problem that you said, we just have to fix this? And I think you've already said this like 3 times, but.
Well, the high level of scam coins out there, and not only scam coins, actually, it's also the project that start and fail within a year, that a lot of people believe in, and that in the end the developers don't have the skills to set it up and to have it run, so they abandon it. So that was the big problem is. There's like 10, 15 projects that start every day, and there's maybe one every week that goes on for longer than a year. I read somewhere that even most real serious projects only last for about 15 months. So,
wow,
which is sad.
Yeah, but I mean, it does seem accurate, right? And we've got now the last count. I mean, the public projects that are easy to count because you can actually track them somewhere. They're being tracked meaningfully. it fluctuates between 1,500 to 1,800, and it's just growing.
Yeah, it's crazy, and well, when you're a bit in the community and especially on the Discord level, then you daily get servers that are deleted and gone because or developers that have left, and a project with the community that's just being left there and to die basically.
Yeah.
I actually did on my YouTube channel. It's really small, but I did 6 reviews. Out of the 6, I have 2 projects that are completely dead, 1 that's dying, and so that's a 3 out of 6. That's sad.
That is sad. Jeez. Let me just quickly shout out Prin, who's tuning in from Thailand. Thanks so much for joining us right now. I know it's 2:40 a.m.
That's one of the guys of our team. So.
Nice. Well, definitely appreciate you being here. The support is, of course, great all around, both for anybody in the REDEN community and, of course, for anybody who's just new to the channel here and sees that we are doing these reviews regularly and these interviews regularly. So thank you for being a support. All right, guys. So the high-level problem, too many scam coins. Awesome.
Absolutely.
And so let's talk about why create a new blockchain? Why go this direction? Why not, for example, find a different project that had the manpower, the funding, maybe the technology already, or just the, I'm going to use a $5 word here, the alacrity, right? The goodwill and the ability to just execute.
Okay.
To make this thing happen, and why not be a vocal part of their community to see if they could achieve this vision?
Because there was a community of 4,000 people already. And a running blockchain and investors, and there was already miners, and we had everything in place except for the dev team, basically, because the one developer that was there, he left. So we had a running blockchain, we had masternodes up, we had like 500 masternodes up 400 masternodes up in 4 days. We had 12 or 15 gigahash in mining. So we had 4,000 people in the Discord already, which is huge for a project that was 4 days old. So there was a lot of hype and a lot of, and there were a lot of people that were already there. So ideally, we wouldn't have started this way, because the best way would have been that we first define the project and then set up a blockchain and have everything in place. So we're going the other way around, basically. We have everything in place, and then we decided, okay, now we need a purpose, a new purpose, because the one that the original developer had, that was not achievable because nobody knew anything about decentralized AI. So we asked the community, okay, what do we do? Do we keep the project going? Do we find another purpose? If so, what other purpose can we have? And well, it was a bit of logical that we came out to the fact that there is something against scams, because we were born out of a scam. So
nice.
So that's why we have a new project. Ideally, we didn't start a new blockchain. No, you're absolutely right there. But yeah, we had everything in place, so why not?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That is the question then. So it's not even so much why start, but really why not? If you had all the ingredients, yeah, why not bake that cake, that new blockchain cake? Yeah. So just add developers.
Yeah, well, and in the end, we did a blockchain swap, because it turned out that the code that the old developer was using was really old code, and we couldn't rely on it. So we did a hard fork. No, we didn't even do a hard fork. We did a chain swap. So that meant for me, like, not sleeping during a week to swap all old circulating supply. But okay.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
oh man,
I was not alone. We were at 3 people that were intensively checking every swap. So yeah,
nice. Oh man, well, thank you for that. I mean, it seems like in order to get anything done on these projects, eventually it requires that somebody lose sleep somewhere for some length of time. So thanks for doing that early on.
We're in the crypto world. What is sleep?
Right. Yeah, foreign concept. Let me open up the white paper here, and I think I've already got this scaled up so we can see it very quickly. I'm sorry because I know as a visual guy, as a photographer, it's got to kill you to see the bad scaling. Yeah, right. Really bad rescale.
Well, I'm on an old laptop, so it's still quite okay. I'm only on a 1080 screen, so it's okay.
Okay, cool. So right here, this is the April 2008 version 0.3 of the white paper right here. And it says community-led project. This is my first time opening up this white paper. So open disclosure to anybody who's just tuning in or anybody who's watching with us live. You're reading this at the same time that I'm reading this if it's your first time reading the REDEN white paper. So, all right, it says...
Let me give you one little remark. Since we put up that white paper, a lot has changed already in where we're going from there. But go ahead, and then I'll adjust where needed.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I appreciate that. We've had several projects on the channel who've essentially had to admit, like, our white paper is in the middle of a revision, so don't take it too seriously. We've got some changes coming, so totally understand that. That's why these interviews are so crucial in my mind, because you can read a white paper and it can be somewhat misleading. You can check out the team and maybe not get the full story, and it just makes so much more sense to have somebody from the project talking about it. So right here it says consultation draft is open for comment until date and time, see Discord. So open conversation there. Roadmap items throughout this white paper are flagged as bold text. So not too much bold yet?
Not yet, no. It's basically a bit of background there, where we came from, so that you already had. And then the high level pitch, basically.
Awesome. Okay, so it sounds like then, REDEN Coin is a community-led project. It says right here, whose origins lie in the Eden coin that was taken over by a new team when the original developer abandoned the project. The community voted that REDEN's new purpose should be de-risking altcoin, providing services to make it harder for scammers and unprofessional teams to undermine the enormous opportunity altcoins offer genuine development teams and their investors. This consultative white paper describes the proposed services that will support this goal. They are project collateral services, escrow services, reputational services.
Yep.
Okay. So, and then the deeper dive there is that for project collateral services, projects can deposit collateral in escrow with REDEN, and if the project folds, the collateral will be used to compensate coin holders. And then escrow services, completely directly related. REDEN can logically offer further escrow, for example, of Bitcoin listing proceeds or non-token items such as source code repositories. Very cool.
Or even IDs of developers, because that's one of the big red flags when you have a project where the development team or nobody on the team is showing their real identity. Sometimes it's for legitimate reasons. I mean, if you're in the US, it's a bit a gray area to be involved in an ICO or in a crypto project. So I can understand that you don't want to. We can understand that you don't show your identity. But what we want to do is with those escrow services that we get as the project, we get the IDs from the development team. They are put encrypted on the blockchain. And then whenever the project code goes belly up, we can publicize those identities so that the people that are victim of whatever scam or whatever that happened can take appropriate action in their own legal
whatever
framework.
Jurisdiction, perhaps.
Jurisdiction, so that's one of the things that acts next to the source code repositories.
Yeah. Awesome. I've got a couple of questions coming in from Roger Crawford, and I apologize for cutting your explanation short there, because I appreciate that there's more to it, and it sounds like there's a lot of richness that'll probably answer the question that Roger has. But he's asking, what is the difference between this project REDEN and what you're doing here for de-risking participants of new projects? What's the difference between it and Veritasium, or for that matter, Ethereum, with their smart contracts?
The fact is that we are only focused on having, that's not what's supposed to happen. No, we're only focused on having like first of all the order of the three items is reversed because before we can do collateral we have to have the trust for the escort service, and before we can do the escort service we have to have reputational services so that we build the trust in the community. But the difference is that we are putting everything in our blockchain, and we can build an API on it, and we can also build a system that is completely independent of no backend. I mean, so that well, I'm not the developer. I have to say that up front, so I can explain on a technical level, but I'm not a developer. As
okay.
You know, I'm a photographer. So
yeah, no, totally understood. This is the photography guy talking to the video live streaming guy about technical concepts that we couldn't execute if we wanted to, but I think I understand.
Yeah, I understand them also, but I couldn't execute them. No, but so the thing is that when you put something in the blockchain that's immutable and undeniable true, because it can be changed afterwards, but there's always the problem that how do you put it in the blockchain, and if you do that through a backend, then you're in essence having an opportunity to alter the information that is entered in the backend in the blockchain. So for that, we have to develop, and we are going to develop a system where you enter, for example, directly from the wallet or through a web interface that relies solely on JavaScript. So it's executed locally on the computer and open source and all that kind of stuff.
Got it.
So that's where it's a bit different, but we could have probably done it on the. I'm going to shut this up.
It's the curse of the digital age, man. I mean,
yeah, no, it's because I think people see me and they start hitting me up on Twitter, on Discord, and so,
right. They're like, Philip, you ask him some hard questions. Who is this guy?
Well, actually, I think the questions are quite logical, and I expected most of them.
Awesome.
So,
well, and I think that was about as much preparation as he gave you, is that they'd be mostly high level questions and that shouldn't be too hard, right?
No, indeed.
Okay.
But to go back to the question of Roderick, we probably could have done it on Ethereum, but again, we had everything in place except the purpose. So, well, that's why we decided to go through with it and do it within own blockchain and not on the Ethereum blockchain.
Sure. How you find that decision has helped or hindered progress? I mean, as far as block time, as far as just functionality of the network. Are you finding that was a better choice? I mean, everyone references CryptoKitties, right, as being a problem.
Yeah. Well, for the moment, we're a really small project. So, I mean, we have 12 gigahash at the moment, and that's after the technicals did a almost complete live stream about us last week. So, we're a really small project, and that's hard to say if it will scale that in the same level as Ethereum does, which, well, they're running into their limits now at certain points. But well, that's hard to say if it's going to be an advantage or disadvantage at the moment. So we hope it's going to be an advantage because we have more control over how the blockchain runs, and we have 1/22 blocks in. So and if a problem arises, we can alter the block size or things like that to make it go faster, and we're not dependent on the fact that there is another blockchain that we don't have access to solve those problems.
Right. You know, it actually does seem like, for me, it makes perfect sense that you would want for it to be an entirely bespoke blockchain for a project like this because of the nature of the nature of the degree of authority that you're trying to bring to your project and the and authenticity. It's going to be really hard to build on somebody else's blockchain and suffer through any of the growing pains that they have, but then also say, no, really, but we're validating the work of other people and you can rely on us.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's true. It's true. It's actually a better answer than I gave. So.
Oh. Well, that's I'm here all week. So let's talk a little more about the white paper here, and I'm gonna quickly browse through. And while I take a look at this, I got a question from Manuel de Rio, and he's asking a high level question about the end goal, right? So what is the end game? The perfect win for REDEN looks like what?
That we replace the Bitcoin talk announcements.
Nice.
That's the very, very long-term end goal, is that instead of being announced on Bitcoin Talk, projects will announce through our services, and they get reviewed almost at the moment that they are announced, so that we have the smallest gap possible between the fact that it's announced and that there is a review, or at least some kind of authoritative. Well, I can't say score because we don't give a score. That's maybe also something that we have to touch on later on.
Sure. Well, it sounds like what you do is even far more deadly. It's not that you give a score; it's that you never forget when it's a pass or fail. So if it's a fail, that's the worst possible score you can get as a developer who has their ID registered with REDEN.
Well, if it's a fail, it's a fail. That's not the problem. The thing is more that if you scammed, that's a problem, because then
I guess that's what I mean to say. If you fail in the integrity department and it is a scam.
Okay. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So because your reputation shot. That's the thing about distributed ledger technology, in immutable ledgers, and being a scam artist, you're done. Okay, awesome. So, hey, we've got team right here, and that's probably already on the website. I probably could have just brought that up over here, so I'm gonna do that over here. We'll jump back to that in a moment, but it's because it's invoked in the white paper. I want to pull that up. Community governance. REDEN has already begun a regular community votes and consultation on important decisions affecting the coin. The roadmap will include improved tools versus Discord now for fair and efficient community votes and consultation. What does that look like? What do you imagine today?
Well, basically what you're looking at. So we do put up at the moment. It's really simple because we still have to develop a lot of everything. We only started the new blockchain the 21st of April, so we're like 2 months old. And all major decisions are taken through a community vote in the Discord. So we put up a couple of options, and people vote by having the reactions in Discord. And that is the democracy in our community. So even if it's against what we wanted as a team, what we consider to be the best option, so we still go forward with it. At the moment, it's a bit silent in the community vote part, because we're putting a lot of stuff in place, and they're not really decisions to be taken. It's more like the elbow work, the elbow grease work, or how do you say it?
Right.
It's a lot of working and trying to have everything set up that we can go forward, and that we have a minimal viable product as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because that's really important, that we have, like, for the moment we have a proof of concept running. So there's a separate Discord server where we do reviews. And that's basically, we have a 10-page guideline doc for reviewing projects. And
wow.
That's formed into a Google form that can be filled out by anybody for a project, and then that gets put on the website. But that's all manual work, so that has to be as much automated as possible.
Sure.
To avoid human error, to have like the immutable history, all that kind of stuff. So we are now working as fast as possible towards that minimal viable product, and to store the reviews in the blockchain.
Yep, phenomenal. I've got a couple of questions that have come up that I think are really important and logical questions for a project like this. Roderick is asking about if there are any coin, like development coins or the development fund for REDEN, being held in escrow by a third party.
No. Well, yeah, by me. But
okay.
No, we wanted to put up, and that's still one of the things that we're working on, is we said from the beginning that we wanted to put the team fund in multi-signature wallets, so completely transparent. So we have at the moment we have one wallet, but we're about to split it up for the different budgets. So like the marketing and as its separate budget. And we wanted to put it in a multi-signature wallet, but because it's all a command line, and it's not really easy and user-friendly to do a transaction in multi-signature. We have not yet done that because we're not all developers. I can work with the command line. I mean, I'm a Linux user for like a couple of years now. So command line has not a lot of secrets for me, but not everybody can work a command line and knows what he's doing there. So
right. Hey, shameless plug for any of the viewers right now who are mining on Windows. It's installing the bash. Installing bash for Windows is as simple as going to the Windows Store and downloading bash from Canonical or the makers of Ubuntu. So you can practice your command line navigation using bash on Windows today to transition your way over to Linux like you see Filip doing. Filip, you mentioned that 11 years ago, almost to the day, you started full-time in earnest your business as a photographer and left everything else behind. But here you are learning this skill set. A lot of people would feel intimidated by that. So I just wanted to applaud the work that you're putting into there and let members of the audience know you can do it too.
Yeah, of course. And I've been a geek and a nerd since a very long time. But yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, it looks scary. It's a black box, but I grew up in the age that we still had like the really big floppies, the 3.5 inch floppies.
Right.
So,
yeah. Some systems had 2 in case it was a really big program.
Yeah. Or you have to install a game by putting in like several one after another to load it in the RAM or stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Did you play the first generation of Doom?
Yes, of course.
It was exactly that, right? Yeah. It was like 3 or 4 discs.
Yeah, and I even played the platform Wolfenstein.
Oh yeah,
where that it scrolled by the screen, so it was not even 3D; it was still 2D. That was on 2.5 inch or 2. What was it? 2 inch.
So yeah, 3. So there was 3.5, and then there was 5.5. That was the actual floppy.
No. I was earlier was about the 5.5, and then the Wolfenstein 2D was on the 3.5.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're digressing.
Yeah, no, totally. I apologize, but just talking about so to the audience, you don't have to be old school either, right? You don't have to have a beard. You don't have to have a beard. Like you can, without those things, you can jump in. You can start learning some of these basic foundational skills to get you more familiar with all of this technology. But let me ask also, and pardon the interruption, but to jump back just a little bit, the question originally was, are any of the development funds being held in escrow? It sounds like right now you're acting as an escrow agent for any of the developers who are on the project because it's a community project. So but even though you're not completely disassociated from the project, you're acting as that agent.
Yeah, and that has grown historically in a project of 2 months, but still, that has grown from the fact that I've been doing the same thing since I think in February somewhere for the Raven project. I was on their Discord, one of the more active escrows there. So I handled big amounts of Raven transactions and stuff like that before. So and of course, you just look at my nickname on Discord and you have all my details on completely open. So if I would scam out, so to say, I would very fast have like police and everybody at my door because
right.
my address, my physical home address is on the internet completely open. So
what, you doxed yourself?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm an independent photographer, so I have to have my home address. My business address, which is, because I'm a freelancer at home, on the website. That's law in Belgium. So, it's on my website. My website is my nickname in Discord. So basically, if I would scam out, I'm fucked.
It better be for a lot of money so you can move to Costa Rica, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's good to know. So I had a question also, and this is again from Roderick, and I think it's because Roderick mentioned in the comments he really wants to be supportive of the project. And there are many people who tuned in today that are just evaluating, trying to figure out, is this the right project for me to back? Should I mine it? Should I get into a master node for this project? And his question was, what was the process for deciding the coin supply? I'm sorry, this was Usman who asked about this, but the coin supply. And
basically, we took over the old coin supply.
Oh, okay.
And that was also voted in the Discord. Should we? the initial coin supply was 14 million and would have been mined and masternode, or however you say that, rewarded to a masternode in 180 days. Okay. So yeah, that would be almost now. So we ask the community, what do we do? Because that is too short to have anything working. We can't be sure that we have a project working, and we still need the support of the miners and the masternodes before there will be a huge value in the coin. So we have to prolong that time frame, and either we raised the coin supply, or we work with really aggressive halvings or reductions in reward, which is in the end what was chosen. So we kept the max supply of 14 million, which got a bit adapted because of the new halving times, and because we had the circulating supply of 3.4 million coins already that had to be integrated in the pre-mine to be able to make a swap. So now it's, to be exact, 15,165,000 and a couple of REDEN. I don't know exact to that level, but right. No, it depends also if you where you round off. So that's something we will see in the future. Is like the halvings get, or the rewards get so small that at a certain point, where does the reward stop to be taken into account? That's something that we're not really sure on, and Excel doesn't go that granularly on that calculation, so we get rounding errors and stuff like that. So it's a bit hard to say, but it's about 15,165,000 coins.
Got it. Okay, and the total supply will be?
Well, that's the total supply.
Oh, got it. Oh, geez, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm like spacing a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
Crazy.
Yeah,
so,
no.
And how was that calculated again? I apologize. Like, why?
Well, well, basically the old project had 14 million as a total supply, so that's not that much. And there was a rather big reward every block of 50 coins. And that would mean that with a block time of 60 seconds, so that would mean that basically in 180 days, although the max supply would be mined and there was nothing more after that. We adjusted that after consulting the community to have 2-minute block times, keep the reward for the first 60,000 blocks. And but because we had to take in account that there was already a circulating supply of 3.4 million, we had to put that in a pre-mine, because otherwise we couldn't swap one-on-one with the old coin for the people that had already invested in the project. So that's where the whole calculation comes from. And basically in about in 19 days, we have our first reduction in reward with 25%.
Got it. Okay. All right.
This total supply will now be mined, the total supply will be there in about 5.8 years.
Got it. Okay. So this is great. This is great that you have that timeline. You know, I'll get to the 5-year question a little later on in the interview, but I ask a question related to timeline and related to roadmap and sort of that long view in most of these interviews. So we'll jump back to that. It's great that you have that insight, that you have the foresight to just say like, okay, we should take about this long to get to that point. Let me ask, as far as a specific problem that you needed to solve first, let's go back into the genesis, rather it's always a bad word to use in blockchain, right? But when it came back to reviving this project, yeah, and you realized, okay, well, we've got the community, we can make this work. What was the first major hurdle that you had to overcome when everyone said like, all right, so
a lot of fat.
Okay.
Which is normal. I mean, well, basically I think at 7 a.m. European time, well, Central European time, the Discord for the old project got shut down and everybody was left without the project. And then there was Daniel, or Atesunk is his Discord nickname, who set up a new server and started inviting everybody, together with Dwight, one of the more known people in the circles of early projects. And then, of course, everybody started turning to me because I was the closest to an official representative of the project, as I was doing an escrow service on their channel. So they started, what's happening and where was the server? And that day I got loaded with DMs, and I started answering. And that was the biggest hurdle is like, okay, we have this in our hands. What are we going to do with it? And how are we going to convince the people that we are not going to scam them another time? Because that's one of the big things is once that a person gets scammed, he's really distrustful to everybody. So yeah, the first reactions were like, yeah, but you're just reviving it to get your own coins out and to have a return on investment. I at that point had exactly 300 Eden in my name, so which was nothing compared to the total supply of 3 million. So I had no interest there, and I could show that, and that was one of the biggest hurdles for having to convince everybody. I've spent hours talking to everybody on the Discord, mainly to calm community, and I had to have a lot of patience.
Yeah. It sounds like absolutely you did. It was not an easy boat to turn around, easy ship to steer.
No.
So awesome. Okay, so it sounds like
I couldn't have done it alone. I mean, once I started having some people around me, they started also to when I went to sleep or something, they took over the talking to everybody and calming down and informing and having everything in place that we could go on. And basically within a week we had a new purpose, and we had decided that we were going to do a coin swap and all that kind of stuff. So we moved also very fast in the beginning. That was a good thing.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm just absolutely impressed. So
thank you.
I guess jumping back a little bit, I guess the big question, and this is kind of like that VC style question, right? The Silicon Valley style question. What's the big problem? So I apologize if I'm trivializing the process. I don't mean to, because I know you had so much that you had to try to fix when Eden kind of went south. But thinking back, what was one of the biggest technical hurdles that you had to overcome to revive the project? How did that?
Well, the biggest technical hurdle was we were left with code that we didn't know anything about it. And we had to go through and find out that there were things that didn't work, Masternode that went offline for no reason, rewards that weren't given out, which we didn't have an idea why that happened. And that was basically the reason that also we had a wallet, compile a release of a wallet, which we didn't even know if there were like viruses included in it or Trojan horses or whatever. So we had to basically the development team had to go really fast on analyzing code, recompiling wallets, and providing something that was kind of working.
Sure. You had to make sure that the entire scam wasn't actually a long game Trojan horse where they were going to leave you code that had backdoors everywhere.
Yeah. So and then we had to, okay, now we're having a blockchain that turns a little bit. Let's what we're going to do now, and then you come to the point like, okay, this is code that hasn't been touched in 2014. This is going to be full of security problems. Instead of fixing it, we're gonna fork another recent project that has used more recent code and work with that. So that's where we went from there, and then 3 weeks later we had our new blockchain up and running.
Awesome. I've got Thomas, who's asked repeatedly, and I apologize, Thomas, for letting this one simmer for so long, asking about proof of burn with the renewed project or the revived project. Proof of burn for certain wallets or for portions of the original dev fee that maybe should not have made it into REDEN from Eden.
Yeah, because we didn't do a hard fork, but we completely swapped the chain. There is no coin that has come over from the old chain that hasn't been gone through my and some other team members' hands. and has been checked on the Explorer from where it comes from. And we had an eye on the pre-mine wallet from the original developer all the time. He had a pre-mine of 700,000 coins. He sold 300 or 350,000, and we inherited a pre-mine of 400,000. That 400,000 is sitting in a wallet on my computers, backed up and all that kind of stuff, of course. So there's no malicious coin from the old, because that's one of the main reasons we decided to go for a chain swap and not for a hard fork, was that way we could easily control which coins came in circulation and which didn't. And basically we swapped everything except for the 400,000 that was still in the hands of the old developer.
Got it. Okay. So, all right. So it basically sounds like, it sounds like as best you could, the only thing that you kept intact practically was the community. You had to go back through the code, all the repos to make sure that they weren't tainted or some kind of like crazy, psychotic, long game, James Bond style, Trojan, which kind of seems like that would be a really long game to play as a scammer, but
I wouldn't be surprised though.
Right? It seems like it could happen in 2018. But it sounds like the only thing you kept intact was mostly the community.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In the end, yes, that was not the preliminary purpose, but in the end, it was for the best of the community.
Okay.
Basically do it all over, and we kept the investment that people made, that we kept intact also. So we did a one-on-one swap. So if you had like one Eden, after the swap you have gotten one REDEN. So REDEN or REDEN, we're still not sure about how to say it.
Right. I apologize. I should have asked first thing.
Actually we don't know, because there's just like three ways we can say it. Because we are coming from Eden, it would be logical to say REDEN, but in American or English it would be REDEN. And basically the word REDEN or REDEN mean in Dutch, which is my native language, means reason, and it's said reden, which would be a third way of saying it. So we're not sure how to say it. Actually.
Okay, noted. Okay, now I know, Philip. I have to say reden every single time I say it, right? Is that about right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's only me that's doing that, because I'm the only Dutch-speaking guy in the team. So I think we're gonna be on REDEN, because Technical has been plugging us quite extensively lately and is doing all the time REDEN. So basically new people are going to hear it from him first. So
okay, well maybe just to give Matt a hard time, I'm going to start calling it REDEN. just to give him grief. You hear that, Matt? REDEN. It's REDEN coin. You're saying it wrong. So awesome. Let's talk a little bit about team. I had that open over on the reden.io page. So right here, you're right there. Philip, is it Bunkins?
Yes, Bunkins.
Bunkins. All right. That's
it's actually Filip.
Thank you, Filip Bunkins. I didn't see an umlaut, so I got confused.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So
it's not German, it's Dutch.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I limit the number of languages that I can fake on one show to 2. So we've got a few people here that are public facing, and I don't think that there's anybody who's fully anonymous. It looks like everyone is public facing. Everyone has got that transparency at kind of front and center, as you do. Maybe not to the point that their individual personal address is published, but let's talk a little bit about team. Let's talk a little bit about who's on the team and why. And let's try to get through this kind of quickly. We've been live for about an hour, so I don't want to fatigue our audience, but I do want to get to this because this matters, right? The people behind the project are one of the most important aspects of a project. So where did everybody come from, and why are they with you now?
Well, most of them had some kind of stake in Eden, and we all came together and decided, okay, we want to go somewhere as a team, and we want to revive this project or keep it going. So basically, my background is a photographer. Daniel is a real life CFO, so that's good. Johnny is a Canadian. Well, Danny is actually British Swiss. Johnny is Canadian, and he's a project manager, CTO Well, I'm not really clear what his real job is, but it's somewhere in between there. Then Daniel is actually the guy that set up the Discord and took the initiative to start revive the project. And then we have Daniel. I think he's New Zealand. Sorry, Daniel, if I butcher your country.
He's like, I'm from Australia, mate.
Yeah, he's from the continent of Oceania. I don't know how you say it.
Okay, yeah, that region.
Yeah, that region there. So he's our marketing guy. I'm not sure what he does in real life. That I have to say sorry, I don't know. 3, he's actually a developer in real life. He's mostly a UI developer, but he has been doing stuff he has been already a bit longer in blockchain. Then Nicholas is a really young Danish guy. He is not really a developer, but because he was the one that got the GitHub and started testing stuff, and we didn't know how to say his function, so we made him developer, web developer, advisor. We was, especially in the beginning. Now he had his finals, but in the beginning he was really active in the community. So he was really there and really active. So it was quite a good thing. And we debated actually if we wanted to put somebody of 16 on the website.
Well, the good news is, so Zelcash was on the show just yesterday. They're coming back on Monday. Saw, and the other CEO is 16.
Yeah, I know. I saw. Yeah, but actually, legal implications.
Yes.
We weren't sure if we could do that because. You have project right, which you normally have to ask for parents and all that kind of stuff. So,
sure. Well, where is the corporate where was the corporation formed that? Okay, got it. So for governance,
for the moment we're not a legal structure. We're not a company. We're still just a bunch of free volunteers. Well, and now actually today we get our first wage, if you can call it like that. We did retroactive. We paid 40 REDEN a day for active team members. So that came out for the 4th of April when the project started to the 4th of June, because it was a bit hard to go back which days you were active. We said, okay, you get 2,400 REDEN. For that REDEN, for that period, and from then on, it's weekly that we're paying out for the active days. So,
very cool, very cool. That's awesome to know. What is REDEN trading at today?
Officially nothing. No, basically we are not yet on really. Well, don't do market yet. We're not there.
Right, I'm not going to check that, but it looks like
no, we're not on. We have applied for CryptoBridge.
Okay,
we're in the queue to be listed. That should happen next week or the week after. There is one very small new exchange that listed us, but there was a bit of controversy around that in the beginning because they were completely new. We were the first coin that they listed, and they didn't really want to be open towards us, which we think is very important. That's also why the team is with full name on the website. Is like, if we want to be against scamming and unprofessional teams, then we have to practice what we preach. So we have to be open, and we have to be sure that everybody we partner with is legitimate and that we can trust them in a certain way. So there is a really small exchange, but they have like a volume of 0.04 Bitcoin a day. So the value there at the moment is around 500 Satoshis. And in OTC, people are since a couple of days going really high. Basically going for between 5,000 and 15,000 Satoshi. So where's the real price? We don't know. And to be honest, at this point, me and most of the team don't really care because that's not the most important of the project. The reason we do the project is to have a product, and then the value of the coin will come. I mean, we have a small max supply, so that will immediately raise the value. And if we can deliver what we want to deliver, then everything, all the rest will follow. The only thing is we have to do it quickly.
Right. So, hey, community, anybody who's watching, as soon as you can, let's. I mean, I won't say pump the coin, but make sure that these developers get paid. So that's, yeah. I'm just saying that compensation goes a long way towards keeping goodwill with development long term.
That's true.
But
well, actually, if I just can make a little plug, we can still use developers. We have a couple of developers, and they're good at what they do. Where they don't have an extensive experience in blockchain development, but we managed to do a chain swap, so that's not that they don't have experience, but we can use some help in the development part, so that and you don't have to completely openly put your identity if you don't want to. We have like the core team, and then we have the advisors. So we have a separate group of people that do the same work as the core team, but they don't show their identity. They're not obligated to do anything, so they jump in when they can, and when they can, they get rewarded also. So it's not that we have them as volunteers, complete volunteers up there. So
got it. Okay, so developers in the audience, you heard it here. Check them out on Discord. Probably is the best way to find the project. And
yes.
Okay, and
or wherever you can find me. Just contact me. Like we'll get you to the right person, and then that will work out.
Okay. Specific needs though, in terms of development, are you looking for somebody that does what specifically? So full stack developers of all types.
Well, full stack, yes, of course. But it would be really handy to have like a real Node.js developer. Because we are going to be really dependent on that if we want to have the platform working completely separately from a backend.
Okay, so JavaScript specialists, or rather JavaScript generalists, maybe a Node.js specialist.
Yeah, and then one person that knows the blockchain in and out is always welcome, but they are in really low supply, so well, not too much hoping for that, but if that would happen, that would be great. But well, we have some advisors that we can ask those questions also, so that's a bit okay. But so basically, developers of all kinds can join in, also because it's a great learning experience, and we're not planning on going away. So that is, it's not a project that you jump in for like and then invest a lot of time and it leads nowhere. That's not the goal. So
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little more about the white paper just a bit. The drivers of demand that you have listed here are that you'll have the coin deposited as collateral or otherwise in escrow, and then you anticipate will tie up in a meaningful proportion of the coins in circulation in due course, and then used to pay for escrow services and to purchase community crowdsourced intelligence on projects. So you'll be rewarding the community for doing this research on new projects.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's actually, I don't know if you have the Bitcoin Talk announcement up.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So there should be a high-level product chart.
Okay. Also, shout out to Luke Baghetti for creating X16S.
Yeah, absolutely. If you scroll a bit down, then you should see normally a really nice a little more. It's an image. It's an image somewhere.
That's got to be it. No, it's not it.
No, it's not that. Okay. I'll ask somebody in Discord to get a direct link to me, and then.
Okay. All right. Hey, yeah, no problem. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that for sure.
It really illustrates where we want to go. So that would be quite handy to have up here.
Okay.
So I'll wait till somebody reacts, and then actually the download the PDF version. There it is, the high-level product diagram. Okay,
got it. Okay, so this should be different than from the community white paper.
Yes.
Nice.
Completely different.
All right, so I'm going to just pan and scan through here.
Those are actually the 4 pillars we're going to work with. So basically, you have the review part of the project, and that will be a platform. Think TripAdvisor mixed with Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb.
All right.
Something like that.
So heavily crowdsourced intelligence then.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, we want to have like the facts, the project specs and stuff like that. That is the part that will be analyzed for how big is the pre-mine, what algorithm are they on, is it ASICs resistant, all that kind of stuff. What is the time for the end of proof of work, proof of stake, all that kind of stuff. That would be probably be handled mostly by AI. Some simple form of AI that will analyze, like, okay, if it is 10% pre-mine, that is like a half red flag or stuff like that. That's, well, the exact numbers are not completely set in stone yet, but that will be a bit of a depth. Also, every guideline, everything that we do to analyze a project is going to be fluid, as scams are gonna adapt. So we realize that, so we have to stay fluent also. And then I can't scroll, I think. No,
I apologize. So, yeah, so we starts to the left then, or over here on product specs?
Yes. Okay. So there you have the product specs, a little bit. And so everybody can ask for a submission or for a review, and they just fill out the project spec, because that's fact. What's the website? What's a Bitcoin talk? What's a Discord? What's all that kind of stuff that are facts. That's easily found. That's just put in a form, and then it gets in a queue where it's going to be reviewed more extensively by somebody that is willing to do it. Those initial submissions will be free, but if you have a new project, a fee to skip the line, not to review, because everybody gets reviewed, but just to skip the line. And then, so as I said, the specs is going to be validated by Code AI. Then you have the criteria a little bit to the left.
Okay, so the criteria is
of evaluation, yeah. Mm-hmm. So there we have like a couple of categories that will be taken into account, and they will be there are like we are drilling down on those with questions that are quite obvious, like, is there somebody in the team that is identifiable with name, and did they provide proof of identity? How active are they? Are they pushing masternode sales? Are they showing if they are knowledgeable about what they want to achieve and what they do? We do realize that we don't fit all the criteria yet for the moment. So that those are the more subjective part of the review, but that's also where the community comes in. So everybody can do a review. They get rewarded by people that are going to want to see the detail of a review. So basically, the freemium model we want to work for on the platform is that you see the overall percentage per category. We don't want to give like an overall score for a project. So let's not for example, that REDEN has 4 out of 5 stars for 2 reasons. One, legally we can't do that because that's financial advice, so we can't do that. And secondly, everybody has different needs. If you want to be investing short term, then you have other criteria than somebody that wants to invest long term, or a miner, or somebody interested in the project. So that's why we split it up in a couple of categories, and those will, well, actually you can go on our reden.io/REDEN reviews, and there you see like proof of concept, how we will present that. Actually, the second button.
Oh yeah, it's right there. Yeah, it's just a tab. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So there you have like a couple of projects that have been reviewed already. If you click on one of them, then you'll get a pop-up. Like that's basically how we want to present the free part of the of whatever we offer, and then the submitted reviews are the really gritty reviews, the full reviews given by the people that reviewed the project. And when somebody wants to see the details, they pay a small fee. Well, not at the moment, but once the platform is up, they pay a small fee, and that gets tipped for a large part to the reviewer.
Got it. So this would be it's sort of similar to to the Carfax or running the vehicle identification number of a car through a database and checking out all of the car history. Then, kind of makes sense to me. It seems as though fees would have to be kind of low. We come to expect that with blockchain because there's the degree of automation. Okay, that makes sense. This is pretty darn cool. Awesome. Let me jump back and ask a little bit more just about team really fast. What gets a REDEN developer up in the morning saying, this project is awesome, I want to work on this today?
The fact that it's a need that we need ourselves. Basically, we were all in the crypto community, in the cryptosphere before we joined the project. We were all either investing or mining or both or taking chances on new project. And we found out that this is something that's missing. And we have a community that agrees with it. And then lately, because we're working really hard and not communicating that much in our Discord, the activity in the Discord has gone down a bit, but we had a really active community where we just hired a couple of community managers. They became part of the team. I still have to add them to the website, but my to-do list is like longer than my beard. So so they're animating the Discord again, and so that makes it also that when you have an active community and people that are behind you, and I get people thanking us for the fact that we do this and that we started doing this with a proof of concept, even without having done a line of code. We already have a couple of reviews up, and they are community submitted, so they're not me that has been reviewing all the projects. Yes, there were like 2 or 3 in there, but most of them are community reviews already. So that keeps us going. The fact that we're solving a need.
Right. That's awesome. Okay, so it sounds like a shared community vision is really strong, and you've got a really great culture of sharing that drive to achieve this community vision. That's just great. Let me ask, as far as, and this comes from Roderick again, I think Roderick really wants to see you succeed. And, for my part, I'm seeing the kind of community drive that you have and the vision that you share with the development team. And hey, you've won over a fan in me. I think that the vision for what you want REDEN to become is very noble, and I think it's worth every effort. So kudos. Roderick is saying that it would be a huge favor to the community that's just coming on board and wanting to support as either miners or masternode operators or investors to have the legal team, any kind of legal advisors on the page here.
For the moment, we don't have a legal team.
Got it. Okay.
Because we're not, we should probably need in the future a legal team, because I can imagine that, especially if we are getting known a bit and all that institutions and governments and stuff like that are going to come to us for example, the ID collateral, the ID escrow and stuff like that. That's also why we started out with the review part of the 3 things we want to achieve is we need to have trust, but we also need to find the right people and reach the right people to have that kind of support, like indeed a legal team or at least 1 lawyer or 2 that we can consult. And where we all started, the whole team started on the 4th of April without an idea that we would be doing this on the 5th of April. So
right.
We're still finding our ways in certain things that we still need and where we still have job openings to say so. But we're also not yet a legal structure. As I said, we're a bit like the Bitcoin in the beginning, like just a bunch of people that came together and are going towards a common goal. That's all something that we want to go towards in the future, but for the review part, we don't really need it. That would be fine. That would be great, but at this moment in time, we don't want to put the time aside to do that. We want to have first like a very minimal product out, and then from there on we can get the name, we can get the right people involved on legal level and stuff like that.
Right. So I think just as a follow-up to that, I think you've got the right idea in mind, making something that's very usable and increasing utility of whatever the blockchain offering is. I think that's more important to get started than having a legal or corporate structure and then having legal advisement. That said, Roderick just spoke up again in the comments, and I fully agree that you're right at that inflection point, I think, as a project where it's delicate. You know what I mean? Working on community projects, it can be like a house of cards, and it would be a shame to see the hard work that the community's put in so far somehow be maybe preyed upon by bad actors, right? Just jerks that want to try to cause damage. So it may be worth reaching out to the community to see if the community can provide that as well. Maybe some legal advisement.
Yeah, absolutely. That's indeed one of the things that we really need in the future. I saw also Roderick's comment about the fact that this is a security and a broker's license for Americans. We're not selling anything. I mean, we're just at the moment we're not selling anything. We're providing everything free of charge, and people are mining. We don't sell from the team fund also, so that's one of the things that we are really strong about. Is like we don't touch the team fund to sell. We use it for giving people a little reward for at the moment that hopefully becomes a big reward in the future. But are we a security that's a gray zone in a gray zone, I guess, because
well, the bottom line is that neither you or I can make that determination. That's up to the in this country, it's up to the SEC, and they've put everybody who isn't Bitcoin and Ethereum on notice. So just that if you're not Bitcoin or Ethereum, then they're going to take every situation one at a time.
Luckily, we are not really. I think we have like 1 or 2 people from the US. All the rest is international. So we're not yet under the legal flag of the SEC, I think, in that regards. But yeah, it's something we have to take in account. And on the other hand, and that's something in crypto in general, is like we all know that crypto is trying to stay out of the law. And it started from the cyberpunk ideology. So it's a bit hypocritical to be like, we're going into crypto, which is against the establishment, and now we're going to put in a legal form, and there's a higher problem on that regard than our project in that.
I hear you. Safety and security. There's always that balance, right? And I don't know. I don't know what the right direction is to go there. What I do know is that we don't know who Satoshi is.
No,
it's because Satoshi could be the SEC. We don't know. Satoshi could be the IRS. Satoshi could be the NSA. Satoshi could be the Stasi. We have no clue. You know, it could be any.
It could be an alien. It's like going on around on Twitter. So
right. So yeah, we don't know for sure exactly where some of these anonymous coins have come from, and it's not outside of the realm of possibility for the United States government to be involved in such a high-profile project. Case in point, SE Linux was sponsored by the FBI, and now the Tor project, apparently funded by I think it's is it the Navy? U.S. Navy?
Could be, yeah.
It's one of the armed forces that actually sponsors the Onion Router project. So a lot of privacy-oriented and security-oriented projects were originally funded by defense money in the United States. Go figure. And now, like you're saying, we're using all these technologies, we think, against the powers that be. So it's a difficult dance there. So Roderick is just saying, hey, as a U.S. citizen, he's saying, hey, please include Americans in your plan at some point.
Well, we intend to include them, but legally it is a mess in anything in crypto. So there has to come regulation at a certain point, but first when and how that's going to play out, even on because it has to be on an international level, or we're just in a whole mess, and that's not for our project, that's for the whole cryptos world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or you'll have to make REDEN light. It'll sound like some kind of like light beer, REDEN light, but it'll be for Americans, where we don't get the full reviews.
A really really big example of that is like in Belgium, when I would like to check out, for example, a bit of Bitcoin in fiat. However way I do it, it is illegal against one of the government services. So either it's illegal how I do it for the VAT, or it's illegal for the taxes, or it's illegal for the Ministry of Finances.
Man.
So,
okay. No, I do think that the cypherpunks are onto something, and I do agree the entire system does need an overhaul.
Yeah.
Because it's just too complicated, right? I mean, fiat, it's too complicated.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I think we both digress now. Let me ask so let's ask just a little bit. This is sort of the bonus, the lightning round. Let's talk about ASIC resistance. This has been a hot topic for my channel because so many of my subscribers and so many members of the community that follows my content are miners. And I think a lot of miners are attracted to your project because of the X16S algorithm. Let's talk about ASIC resistance. Why does it matter?
Well, it matters because it keeps it more decentralized.
Okay.
ASICs have a huge hash power in one machine. And unless you're the level of Bitcoin, well, look at Bitcoin Gold. They got the 51% attack. Well, I'm saying now mainly because of ASICs, but ASICs have played a large part in that, probably because it's really easy to get a large hash power with a minimal investment. So that's also why we decided to keep the masternodes, not only because a lot of people bought into the coin in the beginning because there's a masternode, but also because that makes it harder to have a 51% attack, because they have to buy, in theory, 51% of the total circulating supply. In practice, it's more like 30% or something like that, because not all coins are locked up in masternodes, but still, they have to invest a really big amount of money. And we do realize with our purpose that we are going to be we're painting a really big target on our back for whatever attack that is going to come on 51%, on DDoS, all that kind of stuff. That's also why we want to use blockchain to have it decentralized and not have one single point of failure.
Got it. So it sounds like then, in summary, you feel like ASIC resistance is important because it decreases the likelihood of there being centralization of proof of work.
But on the other hand, we also do realize that you can't be ASIC resistant forever, because there will always be things that get just that little bit more adaptive, like, for example, an FPGA that is also, well, some form of ASIC resistance.
Oh yeah,
I don't know which project it was. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't know which project it was that in the end started researching ASIC resistance and then turned to developing ASICs themselves and wrote a whole Medium post about why mining as we do it now will no longer exist in the long future, as basically a CPU is a 10 on the scale of versatility, and an ASIC is a 1. And you have a whole range of products in between, going from GPUs like a 7 to an FPGA 5 or 3, and so okay, maybe we don't get the ASICs, but we get something that's adapting to every algorithm. Whatever, we are going to arrive at a point that we no longer can adapt fast enough to the hardware that's coming out. So that's something we do realize also.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you. I mean, tomorrow I have David Stanfill, who is writing custom bit streams for the Xilinx FPGAs. We're going to be talking very much about putting X16S onto an FPGA tomorrow on the show. So you've been warned. REDEN coin, you might see this hash bomb after tomorrow's show when everybody's like, all right, cool, I can finally get my FPGA mining REDEN coin.
That's probably going to happen. And are we going to fork at that point? I think that's something we have to see. One, how our community reacts, what are the possibilities at that point, and how does it impact us? Because it's not because there is an ASICs for our algorithm that people are definitely going to use it on our algorithm, because it's not interesting for them to mine it like that or something. Well, I mean, that's something we have to decide at that point. We intend to stay as long as possible as ASICs resistance. So that's
very cool.
Short of the very long explanation.
Very cool. Well, I definitely appreciate that. I know, I joke about FPGAs. I say, what is it? LL Cool J's song, "Don't call it a comeback." FPGAs have been here for years, right? But they really are finding this resurgence in popularity, and they're going to be a lot less fringe, in the same way that Claymore, right, made GPU mining a one-click affair for most people. I think this new resurgence of FPGAs and custom bit streams for FPGAs is going to make it very similar to like what Claymore and XMR Stack did for GPU mining. So I think we're going to see some pretty unreal things coming out of it, or CC Miner and the rest. We're going to see some pretty unbelievable numbers coming out in terms of participation with FPGAs. Hopefully that is democratized. Hopefully it's within the reach of the day-to-day miner that normally has a few GPUs. There's no telling what's going to happen there. But I'm a little bit concerned about FPGAs because it's hard to measure what the impact will be today.
But they're also quite expensive and not that easy to get. Apparently, I haven't looked into it myself yet, but what I hear about is that, like, you can get like a couple, but you can't get like a whole farm at the moment for mining unless you're like unless you have like a whole lot of criteria that you fulfill, and so.
Right. Well, the same is supposed to be true of large quantities of GPUs as well, but we all know how that's turning out.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
so we'll get some more clarity on that from David. Let's see. So let me ask you, as far as again with this sort of like lightning round, I've been so long-winded, I apologize. Proof of work in general. You mentioned we might not be able to keep ASICs away forever. Mm-hmm. Where do you think proof of work is headed?
I think it's needed because you can have masternodes, but I think it's good to have also some form, at least, of proof of work, because it is more, more random than masternodes or proof of stake, because you can be a lonely miner on Bitcoin and you can happen to get a Bitcoin, and there will always be people that going to try to solo mine whatever project, because there is that small chance that they will be millionaire because they hit one block.
Right.
But that's the reality. And with a masternode, you have to invest a lot of money to participate.
Right. I do love that masternodes are the truest form of sunk cost contribution to consensus. Zuko from Zcash went on record as saying, "I like that ASICs are a form of sunk cost investment." And I struggle to understand how that is the same as a masternode. So I love that. I love that that's where your project is with that split between them. Can I ask? And I didn't ask before. What is the breakdown of block reward between mining and masternodes? And then dev fees, everything else.
60-40. So we have, at the moment, for the next 19-20 days, we have 50 REDEN per block every 2 minutes. And that's split 30 to miner, 40 to the masternode, 20 to the masternodes. So 60% for miners, 40% for the masternodes. And then we will have a reduction in rewards with 25%. So that will go to 37.5 per block, and that's 22.5 for the miner and 15 for the masternode, I think.
Got it.
Got the top of my head.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been impressed by how lucid your responses have been with regards to this project, because I know you run a boutique photo business with a partner as well. You have a very busy schedule, so this is impressive.
Well, I don't tend to sleep a lot, so I'm eating, breathing, and doing this project. And for the moment, my photography, because it's summer and I do a lot of companies, is on a bit of a low level. So I have a bit of time to invest at the moment. So yeah, and I'm involved in every decision, of course. So I have to know this.
Awesome. Well, let's ask also. So proof of work, you mentioned there's going to be a need for it. I totally agree. Nothing else is proven to the same level. Masternodes are good, but even as your platform is proving, projects that come out and rely solely on masternodes or selling masternodes, it's a huge red flag because it indicates there may not be sustainability, possibly a scam, and it's not proven to the same level as proof of work is. So great to have a hybrid block rewards there between a proof of work and then masternodes. As far as staking and other consensus models, you hear some interesting stuff, right? Proof of space-time and some other interesting models that are proposed, right? But the theory at this point, if there was something that presented itself as a front runner in as a possible alternate consensus model, how likely do you think it is that the REDEN project would adapt?
I would say we would look into it. But we have also the fact that we only have like 5.8 years of proof of work or block rewards. So I think we have to take that in consideration also. And before any type of new consensus model is proven, there has to be a couple of years that go over it, and there has to be a lot of tries to debunk it. And so I think by that time we will be by the end of our max supply.
Okay. And if history is any indication, NVIDIA will have only released one new card in that time anyway. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, indeed. So, and AMD will still be with the RX 580s or something. So.
No, they'll rebadge them to 680s. It'll be totally different.
Sorry, yeah, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no. Awesome. But no, I think we will probably adapt if it's really proven to be better. But to be honest, after 2 months of the project, we're not too concerned with that at the moment, as we have other more immediate demanding things to do than consider how are we going to counteract ASICs and other consensus projects. Sure. I mean, yeah, we talked about it really briefly, but I think it's more important to get a product out and to focus on that before we start going into the long future and in hypotheses, or how do you say it in English?
Yeah, it made sense. You said it exactly as it's spelled.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, for those that didn't understand yet, I'm not a native English speaker, by the way.
But your English is far more impressive than anyone else's. I'm sure anyone else tuning in than their... Gosh, which language do you speak in Belgium?
We speak Dutch and French.
I thought it was two.
I'm native. Well, actually, you have 3 languages. We have Dutch, French, and German.
Okay.
It's like a really small part. It's like 1 or 2 villages, but still, it's an official language. I'm from the Flemish part, so the Dutch-speaking part, and I live in the Wallonian part, in the French-speaking part. So
you only speak 3 languages fluently. Tisk tisk. Yes. I'm just so unimpressed.
And actually, my English is better than my French.
Awesome. Well, I mean, gosh, that's true of most people in Quebec as well. So don't tell them I said that in Canada. But awesome. Let me just really let's close the interview out, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions these are really high impact questions, and so take a minute to think about this. But as the coin supply reaches its end, the mineable coin supply reaches its end, and the available coin supply reaches saturation. So between 5 and 10 years from now, what do you want people to look back on the beginnings of this project, or the founding team, or your efforts? What do you want them to look back on and remember?
That we provided the service that would, in the end, made it safer to be in the cryptocurrency sphere and protected some people from being scammed. That would be the idea that we started with and being born out of a scam that we basically gave a big FU to the original scammer. That would be the thing actually that I would like to remember from this moment.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, that you scammed the scammers.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Joke's on them because they can't escape your scrutiny.
Yeah, that would be that would actually be the thing that I would like to remember in the end.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, and then this is the most important question. And if you tuned into one of my interviews before, you could have seen this coming. But when are you going to transfer me the 25,000 REDEN coin that you promised for this interview?
You would have about the whole supply of REDEN at the moment.
Okay, awesome.
No, actually, I don't know, but yeah, no, it's staying safely in my wallet, and whenever we meet up, I'll definitely buy you a beer. Come over to Belgium. I mean, we have really good beer here. So.
Cool. Well, just as a reminder to anybody who's just tuning in, maybe you're already a REDEN coin supporter or a REDEN supporter, and maybe you're new to this channel, but I do not extort paid interviews. And did I furnish you any of our questions before we got started with the interview today?
No, basically I got contacted by Zero Cool from in the chat yesterday that he said like contact Seth because he's going to look into REDEN. I was like, okay, I sent you a DM. Your nighttime, by the way. So I had like a 2-hour notice before like we go online, and I was like, yeah. Okay, it's nighttime here, so I don't care what time we go online and bring it on.
Okay. Cool.
That's my job anyway. So I'm the CEO spokesperson, so I should be doing this.
Right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you going back over that, guys. Just to, again, if you're new to the channel, this is, I think, such an important thing, and your project is proof of that. That there needs to be a little bit more transparency with new coins and with new projects. People need to be able to understand that they can trust, and in some cases, that means getting some face time also, and talking with the project leaders and leadership team, and making sure that they have ready answers, and that they are fully engaged with their community and that they're ready to make those moves. So really appreciate the work that you're putting in. I think as far as the legacy you mentioned before, being remembered 5-10 years from now, I think that people are going to remember that your project was a giant middle finger, and hopefully still is at that point.
Yeah.
Giant middle finger to all the scammers or would-be scammers.
Yeah. And they definitely will remember the beard. So
we've got to get you a little like hair clip you can put that has a little like doll hand with a middle finger on it.
I actually long overdue to go to a barber because I have like my beard hair that are splitting and stuff like that. But you know the joke about did your barber die? Well, basically mine didn't die, but he went to the army. So I'm the guy that took over is fully booked, so I don't get my appointment in. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure to smash that like button for Filip. This was a fantastic interview. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing good things coming out of the REDEN coin project. I believe that Matt at the Technicals has your coin on the Technicals pool, I think.
Yes, absolutely. He's actually the second biggest pool that we have at the moment, next to the developer pool. So.
Oh, we're not 51% over there, are we?
No, the developer pool is 51% actually. It's most of the time around 70, but we try to spread the hash, and I'm really grateful for Matt to plug it and to put his pool on it, or the subscriber pool. He's going to rebrand it or something.
It is turning into a subscriber pool. I think we're going to have some big news about that over the weekend, and I believe he's also going to be on the mystery mining Mondays with Christy Lee Minahan and with JMS Vlogs and myself on Monday. Hopefully, everybody fingers crossed. Hopefully, the subscriber pool goes through. So you're going to see a pretty unique, like this has never happened before. Where YouTubers have come together to run a joint interest in a pool and stay transparent about the process of operating a pool. So yeah, that's exciting too.
I'm actually myself mining on the Technicals pool. I want to spread the hash rate, so I have to practice what I preach again. So I'm supporting Matt's pool and spreading the hash a bit out. So I'm a small miner, by the way, but still.
Nice. Well, it's great having you on the show. Really appreciate that. Guys, smash the like button. Where can they find you? Primarily Discord, right?
Yes, for the moment, yes. Well, we have a Twitter, we have a Telegram, but at the moment, the marketing team exists of one person. So, by the way, if you are good in marketing, hit me up because we can use some help. And all the social media is like a really hassle to keep up. So yeah, for the moment, it's mainly Discord, and I hope to get my review videos on YouTube going again. Because, well, actually, the project plays into my videos that I was already doing, so that's also nice. So I'll probably do them under the name of REDEN, and then you'll see a lot more of me on screen also.
Awesome. Well, hey, as you're ramping up, feel free to reach out with whatever the form is for a submission there, and I'll have it on mineyear.biz as well, where I host my content, so we can push reviews that way. I have no interest in hosting reviews on the website, so I would love to support your project from there.
Well, actually, that's maybe one of the things that's another monetization is that we want to sell API calls to exchanges and all that kind of stuff, that they have like reviews directly with a coin that you want to buy on an exchange or something, or on a Masternode's online website or stuff like that. Something that we are also planning for the future. So
Very cool. I'd be happy to just help it from a community support level at this point. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. I've got a couple more items for you, but thank you again to Filip while we say goodbye. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being transparent, staying decentralized, and keeping it real. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Alrighty, guys. So first things first, wasn't that awesome? I mean, so cool. I love having new projects on the show, and I love when the head of a project comes in and just makes it so transparent what they're working on. So if you haven't already supported their project, go ahead and follow the links you see here, reden.io. You can find everything from their project from there. I'm really impressed so far. Right here, hey, actually, you know what? If I had just scrolled a little more onto the white paper right here, I would have already seen that X16S right here, that POW, proof of work, is going to be 60% of the block reward, 40% masternode, and then block retargeting. It's all laid out right there in the white paper. Really appreciate that they have a white paper that speaks to what they're actually working on. Pretty awesome. So loved having him on the show. Guys, tell me down in the comments, who do you want to see next? Which coin are you interested in most? Because I've heard all kinds of great suggestions in the comments before. Clearly, Zcash coming on the show yesterday was totally impromptu, right? That was not planned at all. But it was because of a recommendation from the comments. So really appreciate that. And while I have you on the show still, I wanted to show you something that's kind of hit my radar that I'm interested in, and I want to get your feedback on. I want you to tell me what you think about my participation here. And that is Digital Currency Con taking place in Park City, Utah on July 13th and 14th. So that's coming up really shortly. 16 days, 2 hours, 49 minutes, and 47 seconds to be exact. It's probably a couple seconds off because of the live stream delay. But right, Kevin, deal. You get Zuko to contact me. I'll pull him on the show. I don't think he's interested in being on my show, but I would love to talk to the guy. And I hope I haven't come across as like overly critical. I think there have maybe been some PR mistakes there, but he seems like a genuine person. He does seem like he wants what's best for Zcash, as most coin project founders do. So I'd love to have him on the show. I'd love to ask him some questions about Zcash and ask questions about recent decisions regarding ASIC resistance and proof of work and kind of the future of the project. There's so many forks of Z Classic and Zcash that I've had on the show. It would be great to have Zcash on the show. So you issued that. Guys, go ahead and you can Twitter bomb Zuko of the Zcash project, or you can hop onto their Discord and say, hey, you need to go interview with this guy. So who knows? Stranger things have happened, right? Pivx, also a great suggestion. Let's take a look at that as well. I've got Vertcoin lined up over. Let me just make sure that I've got the schedule here correct, because I think that it's. I'll pull it open in another window here, but I've got Vertcoin coming up really soon. I've got BitTube tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, so that's 10 a.m. Central. So Saber Maram of the bit.tube project is coming onto the show tomorrow morning, and we could go live, or I could delay that one for Friday. You guys tell me. And then I have David Stanfill, aka GPU Hoarder, that does custom bit streams and FPGA programming, talking about sort of FPGA mining in general and some possibilities for the future of proof of work and the future of mining. I think it's going to be a killer interview. Talking to David tomorrow in the afternoon. That's at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 3 p.m. Central. So if you're on the East Coast, then it'll be about 4 p.m. So I apologize. Not really a good way to put a delay into that stream, but those are the two that I have lined up for tomorrow. What I might do is delay the interview with Saber Maram of BitTube until Friday. So we'll release that one on Friday. Unless you guys really want to see it live. Do you really want to see it live? Tell me down in the comments. Do you want to see BitTube live? All right, so I'm seeing Bojan ask about Linda Coin. I'm not familiar with Linda Coin, but tell you what I'm going to do. Before we end the live stream here, why don't I go ahead and pull up Linda Coin on the screen? And I'll do a very quick overview. Linda Coin is right there. First off, they're listed on CoinMarketCap, so I'm going to pull them up there, and then I'm going to pull them up here on their website. But Linda Coin right here looks like they've got some history. Alien, I'm right there with you. I can't wait to talk to David, to talk to GPU Hoarder about FPGAs tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. And then Callisto, I want to say that I've looked at Callisto and have even... So I mined on an early pool for Callisto. So it's a fork of Ethereum Classic. Fluffy Pony, hey, issue the call, guys. Like, put me in touch with Fluffy Pony. I would love to talk about Monero, right? The not the original crypto note, but the most visible crypto note. Bitcoin is not doing too bad either in terms of its market rank, but Monero, top dog as far as crypto notes go. And then Lux. Oh no! You know, I think I was supposed to have Lux on the show. So yeah, I think Lux was supposed to be on the show. That is a bummer. Yeah, I guess that's a bummer. The Explorer's offline. Okay, so Mountain Time. I think it is UTC -6. Thanks for the question there, newbie. The clarification is that it's Mountain Time minus or UTC -6. So, Explorer, come on. Let's see on LuxCore. Oh no! Good call. Good call, Sweet Pool. What a bummer. Bummer. Okay, sorry, LuxCore. That's bad news on today's show. Maybe we can pull that up. We'll follow up another day. All right. So, hey, Alien. When you say SA, you mean San Antonio? Because when you say SA, I think you mean San Antonio. All right, Roger Ver, absolutely. Let's get him on the show. Guys, you can Twitter bomb these folks and say, hey, go interview with Seth Estrada, because you need to. Because he's not going to charge you $25,000 just to appear on his show. Though, honestly, I could make that joke at the end of my show, be like, hey, when are you going to transfer that 25,000 Bitcoin cash? And Roger Ver will be like, hold on a second. Make it rain. Rain that BCH. My chroma key is a little wonky. I'm using the cheap webcam right now. Oh, well, I've got two cheap webcams. One is dedicated for OBS. One is dedicated for just for Zoom. And then the other one is actually my 4K DSLR. That one actually looks kind of good on the chroma key. And then I've also got a little got a light panel back there. Oh, South Africa, Alien. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, definitely. These are valuable interviews, I think, and we should totally pursue them. Guys, help me out. Reach out to some of these individuals. My Discord is getting blown up by projects, which I love. Vertcoin is still establishing a time that they can interview. And same with SnowGem. They're establishing a time that their team can come on board, primarily because with SnowGem, they've got an international team where English is not the primary language. And they have a community member that's stepped up, rather community manager that's stepped up to help with the interview for SnowGem. So it's going to take just a little bit of time. Okay, so Prin is asking, how about a 180-degree turn kind of interview? Not to promote FUD, but maybe a perspective from someone who sees crypto as wasteful. Here's the thing, Prin, that's my secret. I view proof of work as wasteful. I'm just going to call it what it is. I view all those compute cycles dedicated to cryptographic hashing, I view them as wasteful. So for my part, yes, I see that they're a necessary evil today, but I do view them as an evil, and I don't view them as the lesser of two evils. I view it as an evil that needs to be erased. We need to move past regular. Yeah, we need to move past the typical proofs of work, the typical proof of work algorithms, and we have to find something more productive to do with the compute cycles. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and I talked to a lot of guests on the show about proof of useful work. You've probably heard it before, but I think that proof of useful work is an essential thing. On that note, San M is also coming up with a time to come onto the show. Same with Ion. We missed an appointment on Monday. They should have been on the show on Monday, and Matt from Ion was unable because he's a busy guy. He's got a lot of different events that he attends to, and he's very, very visible, stays very vocal for his team. So Matt from Ion should be on the show very soon. Vertcoin establishing that time. Snowgem establishing a time. Vertcoin, I already mentioned. What was the other one? Couple more that are right now in the wings, waiting for an opportunity to hop onto the show. And Hero Y, I hear you. Energy spent for creation makes sense. The amount of energy spent for creation is disproportionate to the value of the total market cap. See where I'm going with this? If we have to scale up, like if we had to scale up linearly right now to grow the market cap, that would suck for us as miners. I mean, as it is, mining, the rewards for mining have gone down so much that it's really difficult. Andreas Antonopoulos? I could. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I see that there's value in proof of work. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to say that there's not inherent value. Like, we're trying to do something very new. Trying to do something very, very new. So I've got Linda Coin up here on the screen. I'm just giving them free screen time. But right here, jumping back into the question from before in the comments, I've got, there's their market cap right there. Recently, all the way up to a price of 1/3 of a cent US. And let's see, 54 Satoshis. Not bad. With a peak value in, first of the year, bull run, they, all-time high 78 Satoshis. Interesting. They've been around just a little while. Let's take a look and see how the last week has treated them. Okay, they've got some trade volume. That's cool. They're doing over 500,000, sort of on average over the last week, about 500,000, back up to, averaging about 500,000 in daily trade volume. That is interesting. I don't know how this hasn't been on my radar, other than the fact that there are like literally almost 2,000 active coin projects. More. Yeah, awesome. Hey, Flackfired is helping to coordinate that. Shout out to Flackfired and the Vertcoin dev team. So there you go, guys. Proof. If you know Flackfired on Discord, then you know this is coming from straight from the horse's mouth. Vertcoin is working on a time to hop onto the show, and I'm really looking forward to that. I know that they're very much loved by their community, and I want to get straight from the horse's mouth, see kind of why that is, right? What drives the Vertcoin community to be so supportive. All right, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to the show, if you're just lurking at this point, you're not subscribed to the show, do me a solid, click that subscribe button, hit the little bell icon so you're notified when I go live, because YouTube is not super good about notifying people when you use the live now option. Now, okay, I get it. I need to do a little better and write custom webhooks for my Discord channel and for Twitter and stuff, and make sure that everything kind of works the way it should, right? The notifications propagate the way they should. But here's the thing. I'm not a programmer. I just play one on YouTube. So it's taking me a little longer to get that kind of stuff in place. I kind of more deal with media production and these interviews and questions and stuff. So let's look at the Linda project over here. Looks like the Linda Coin difference. Oh, that's hilarious. This is like 1950s marketing and 1960s marketing speak. Discover the Linda Coin difference. Unbeatable features. Privacy Tor wallets. Atomic swap capabilities. Coming soon. Stealth transactions. Proof of stake. Master nodes. Lightning fast transactions. All right. So, hey, Recon Soldier Boy is saying it would be great to see something along the lines of J.D. Power and Associates of the crypto world. And, I think that is what they want to do with the REDEN coin project. And I do think that's what they want to do. And let's see how the project develops. I really enjoyed having Filip on the show today and talking about project direction. Guys, so here we are, just us. And the concern came up, and Filip, he took this one on the chin, right? The question about like, hey, where's your legal representation and your corporate governance? These are things that probably have to be solved before long when getting into stepping into that kind of a role, because that international handshake of business and reviews and dealing in tokens, which the way they have it structured right now could very easily be viewed as securities, then yeah, they have to have some corporate governance with some legal counsel on board. All right. So Roderick is mentioning that the profit of Lindacoin is mainly through masternodes. There you go. Check it out. 70 to 99% ROI. Well, let's do this. Everybody's on Twitter. They've gone out of their way to make sure that everybody is findable on Twitter, but that has me worried. Why not LinkedIn? In terms of, or not. Jonah Glasgow, not on Twitter. Stephen Newton, on Twitter. Okay. CFO of Lindacoin. Lives out in Michigan. In Plymouth, Michigan. Okay. We put a hiatus on our listings of PCN dApps. This is breaking within the last 24 hours. Putting a hold on the listing of PCN dApps on our mobile app and web staking platform. As with all listings on the web wallet, we ask that investors do your own research to check that each coin is a sound investment prior to investing. Hey, guys, standard disclaimer, my interview of REDEN coin today does not constitute financial advice. I'm not urging you to invest or not invest in any way. I'm urging you to do your research, which is why I ask the sorts of questions that I ask, so that you can hear some of the info that you might want to consider directly from the projects themselves. But I am not endorsing, this is not an implicit endorsement of their coin, their project, or any kind of investment at all. Do your due diligence, speak to a CPA, cover your butt, talk to whoever you have to talk to, incorporate, potentially create other structures such as a self-directed IRA, whatever it is that you have to do to stay safe, but talk to a professional about those kinds of things. I am not a professional, other than asking interview questions that hopefully help draw out some of the answers to the questions that you need. All right, so taking a look really briefly at the leadership team, there's Linda. Oh, hey, that's cute. There's Linda on not the moon, because that is like a giant nebula behind some other planet overlooking, there's the curvature of the Earth. So I don't know what all this is here, but it's not the moon. I can tell you that. Alrighty, so hey, the beard is here over here in Discord saying, thanks. Luckily, I had some practice in being in front of the camera already. Going live on a YouTube stream is less scary than it seems. The beard is just being persistent. You are getting it there. It took me about a year to get this length. All right. So he's giving it personal grooming advice from the beard himself. That's quick. Thank you. I know, man. You have to say it. It's so sad. It's like the McDonald's hot coffee thing, right? Like they're not going to stop printing like, caution, coffee is hot on the coffee cups, because it took one person one time to burn themselves with hot coffee that most people presume is hot when they order it. Yeah. Hey, newbie, you're right. It's such a sue happy society here, right? It's litigation everywhere, and it's even worse when you're visible, or when people think that you have something that they want to take. They try to take it. So let's go back to the Linda Project homepage here. So Stephen Newton is actually on Twitter. Their CEO apparently is not. It looks like right here, Lindacoin News. This is their community support and solutions person. Hey, Prin, thanks so much. I followed on DTube, BitTube, and Stalking. Thank you. Well, I'll have to publish my dlive.io credentials. Appreciate it so much, guys. I'm also considering doing a simulcast with the lead dev of BitTube on BitTube. What do you guys think of that? Should I try to simulcast to both YouTube and BitTube simultaneously? Tell me down in the comments. Should I try to do the first simulcast to both platforms? Because it would be a first. And it would also be kind of meta, right? Would be like, I'm interviewing the lead developer of BitTube on BitTube live. Might be fun. But you tell me down in the comments. Let's take a look at some of the other guys. Justin Tether's apparently actually on Twitter. We can find him. Galen McBride, let's see what he's got on as their marketing specialist. Looks like, hey, everybody's fully branded. So this team, they've got their story straight here. And they are working to create a cohesive brand behind the Linda project. Chris Bow, possibly Bowie, I don't know. Right here. Oh, nope. On Oxfish, this, nope. Chris is pretty much just Chris on Twitter, and that's okay. We like Chris for who he is. Right here, David Gochstein. All right, David Gochstein Inc. Oh yeah, 2018 top 25 cryptocurrency influencer by Crypto Clarified, founder of David Gochstein, educator and motivator. Oh yeah. So awesome. It seems as though they are working with an influencer as an advisor. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Christian. Welcome to the channel. And I apologize that these notifications weren't active before. I've got to check my settings to make sure that those pop up next time when we're on the Zoom view. So Bludget, thank you also. Pengy35, thank you for subscribing as well during the live stream. Did not mention it before. And Prin, thank you for subscribing to the channel. All right, so we've got Community Relations by David Greer, and we've got, as their technical writer, Chris Wallace. Where are the developers? Okay, we're going to open up the white paper. It's cool that they have an advisor team, and that right here they have they have matching photos that they're going out of the way to present their own image to the camera so you can see clearly what their faces are, who they are. Uh-oh, another dead link. Chris Wallace right there. Crypto Blue Whale. He's got lots of followers there. It looks like Chris Wallace is he's involved in several other projects as well, is what it looks like. So, okay, Battle 7 token. Couple of things. Let's look at the Lindacoin white paper just really, really fast. Lindacoin white paper, table of contents, introduction to Lindacoin features, Lindacoin masternodes for eco mining, masternodes, turnkey, staking, stealth addresses, encrypted messaging, atomic swaps. Hey, Niz2310, thank you for joining the channel. Appreciate you being on board. Welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing these kinds of interviews all the time. Hot swaps, atomic swaps, Linda X platform. Yeah, good question, right? Niz 2310 roadmap. Let's take a look. All right, I kind of need to make this smaller because this. What the heck? Applications roadmap. There it is, down on page 11. Okay, introduction. Imagine a world. Should I do this in my announcer voice? Should I do this in my should I do this in my movie preview voice? Should I? We'll do it like the, what is it, Screen Rants guy, right? Honest Trailers, the Honest Trailers voice. Should I do that one? Okay. Roderick, hey. Yes, indeed. Pac and Biggie. Both gone too soon. But Christopher Wallace was the name. All right. Imagine a world without money. It's hard to fathom. Since the beginning of civilization, we have lived with cash or alternative forms of it. However, cash and modern fiat currencies such as the US dollar and the British pound all have a fundamental flaw. They are completely based on trust. While trust works well in strong, stable economies, a substantial part of the world is composed of developing countries with less stable economies. When a corrupt government is running out of money, it's tempting for them to print more. However, printing money decreases the value of the currency. Simply put, when the supply of the currency increases, the value is reduced. Even worse, hyperinflation can set in, causing the currency to become worthless. Citizens over credulously trust their government. That's not a real phrase, not a real word. That's bad grammar. Over credulously trust their governments to be responsible and not fabricate more. Guys, we've got Filip the Beard Bunkins in the house. If you have questions about REDEN coin, he's right here in the comments. We just finished interviewing him. Be sure that you can keep those comments right here. You can also bring them to the Discord server. You can find him there as well. But feel free to continue to address him there, and I will continue to answer questions from my end as a reviewer about the Beard's review. Next time, Filip, next time. Yeah, we will have to. But I do work for hire. That's oddly. I will take bounties for doing voiceover of your white paper. I know. It's a growing industry, growth market. Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't actually phrased, by the way, what these guys have here. Citizens over credulously trust their government to be responsible and not fabricate more. Even in developed nations, we still rely on trust. When you send and receive currencies electronically, you're forced to trust banking institutions to store records of transactions. The banks save a digital number, the individual's remaining account balance, and informs the receiving bank of the amount of funds transferred from the initial account. The margin of error, malfeasance, fraud, and unscrupulous behavior by these institutions is immense. Yet we are expected to have the disposition of believing they possess an infallible system and moral compass. All right, guys. I'm just gonna say we've trotted out the same tired arguments here. Like, take Satoshi's white paper, copy, paste. All right, so we've got right here ATMs in the 1960s. We could talk about going off the gold standard in the 1970s. You could basically take a lot of Ron Paul's writing and transpose it onto here. You'd get pretty much the same thing. All right, so guarantee security, securely stored. Highly competitive reward structure to compensate the early investors of Lindacoin takes advantage of proof of stake and proof of work, getting the best of both worlds. More than 70% proof of stake block rewards and 99% APR. So some kind of fixed rewards, apparently. So we'll see what happens there. The proof of stake algorithm allows Linda to manage supply and demand automatically and establish an equilibrium that rewards Linda investors with more coins without hyperinflation. Lindacoin also utilizes a masternode, which ensures lightning fast secured transactions. Got it. This is technology that we all want to see. That's tiny text. How does blockchain... Wait, you're explaining blockchain in general? No. Okay, Lindacoin. Linda. Proof of work, proof of stake hybrid, Scrypt. All right, so sorry, GPU miners, this is not for you. All right, uses the Scrypt, which, by the way, is the actual pronunciation. It's not... I mean, you can call it script. I'm not going to be all weird about it, but I think it's meant to be pronounced Scrypt. Who knew? It's weird, right? It's like GIF, GIF. Take your pick. Potato, potato. But Scrypt right there. Difficulty retargeting algorithm. Thank goodness they have that. They have it listed there. And 30 million coins. All right. So Hero Y, yeah, government spending in blockchain, that makes sense to me. Anything where the government needs to maintain accountability to the people, that makes sense to me in terms of blockchain. There are some applications for government that I never want to see in blockchain. One of them is the IRS. Do you know how often the IRS makes mistakes in their audits? Somebody venture a guess down below in the comments. How often, when they audit somebody, that person is found not to be at fault for any kind of a problem? It's okay. I'll wait. Make a guess down in the comments. While you're guessing, what I will say about the IRS is that I don't want them to have an immutable ledger for their mistakes. Think about that. Block time, 60 seconds. Block reward, 14,150 blocks. Reward halving having. You kind of need to say halving, don't you? So 15 months yearly interest, 99%. It's got to be some kind of fixed interest. So yeah, hey, the Beard, you're not wrong. Yep, 70% of the time or thereabouts. They don't deserve blockchain. They haven't earned it. They haven't earned an immutable ledger yet. I think when the IRS gets rid of some of the inefficiency of who they're auditing, then maybe we'll get there. But today, No, please no. Please no. And them and the California State Board of Equalization, those guys will publicly draw and quarter you. They will like eat you alive. I don't want them to have blockchain either. So just saying. Yeah, Roderick, you're right. You are guilty until proven innocent when you're audited. That said, they're found to be flawed, right? Their inquiries are found to be flawed so frequently. It's so common that people just say like, hey, wait a second, here are my receipts. Are we done here? Okay. Good day, sir. That happens way too frequently. So, minimum stake age, 24 hours, maximum stake age. Alrighty. Masternodes, eco mining. Masternode, turnkey masternodes. Wow. Here's the thing. There are so many masternodes where you really could turn them into a one-click AWS deployment. It makes me wonder why there aren't more masternodes that are a single-click AWS deployment. Look, I know centralization is the problem, but let's get real. The number of masternodes that are being run on AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Linode, Vultr, or DigitalOcean, like between those 6, you've got a bare majority of masternodes being run. Very few people are running them on local hardware. So just saying, the first person that creates a one-click AWS deployment of masternodes is going to win a lot of business from the whales that want to come in and try to buy up masternodes. There you go, guys. There's a freebie. Contact me if you want more info on that scam idea, but it would be a scam, right? Throwing it out there, though. A lot of people with more money than sense who would do that. All right. Oh, Alien. Sorry. That just hurts. That's a gut punch. All right. So, proof of stake. Ah, cool. Well, I mean, maybe I should take a look at them. Hey, that makes sense. So if it comes from the project and they've created an AWS one-click install, then I'm okay with that. It's when a third party comes in and is like, oh, we do one-click AWS installations, and it only costs this much. The laborer's relief is higher. Development deserves to be paid, right? Or reimbursed in some way or compensated in some way. I guess I would just be really mistrusting of that because it's like, hey, what process did you have to go through? All right. Oh, you guys, now I'm super curious. Now I've got to see exactly Gincoin AWS masternode. Hey, yep, Gincoin.io makes masternodes easy. Yes, turnkey as in done for you. Well, here's the thing. Here's kind of the secret. People who buy really expensive like if you go out and buy a Dash masternode, if you roll like that, you're hiring somebody else to set it up for you anyway. So it is, in a sense, it's already easy. Just add money. Yeah, it might not be AWS, right? They could set it up on Linode. They could set it up on Vultr. They could set it up on DigitalOcean. There's so many other providers that are popular enough, but aren't Amazon and aren't Google and aren't Microsoft or IBM. Right? They all have their own unique clouds, but so many providers that aren't those top providers. Cool. Hey, look at that. Yeah. Well, go them. That's awesome. Good for them. I don't want to talk, too poorly about that as a service, right? Because there are a lot of people who just don't know how to do it. So don't want to speak poorly. I just think that it would be way too easy. It'd be way too easy to fleece people, right? It'd be way too easy to split rewards, right? It'd be way too easy to create a backdoor to reward yourself as the developer that's doing the deployment disproportionately to the person that owns the masternode. You know what I mean? Just saying. A little bit paranoid, but just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. Flag fight. It's cheap too. Yeah, nice. All right, so looks like Linda Project, they have people here, but I'm wondering who their development team is. Let's go back over to the white paper, see if I can just get through this. Because actually, I'm having difficulty getting through this. So, no, Alien, I have not spoken about or to Jin before. Somebody want to give me the intro? I think it's an interesting idea, for sure. Oh, so Dennis, when you say the team is anonymous, you're talking about the Lindacoin dev team, or are you talking about Jin? Alien, are you Gincoin? Oh man, are we gonna do a double feature? Is that what's gonna happen today? Are we gonna do another first where I interview a coin project after setting it up, and then we get another coin project to jump into the live stream? Because if we do, I kind of want to cut the live stream and then start again so we can start fresh. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Alien, if you're serious about this, then let's jump in. Let's talk. So, yeah, I got just enough time to talk to one more team today. Got it. Gincoin is anonymous. Okay. Hey, Dennis, welcome to the channel. Appreciate the subscription. Look forward to seeing you in the comments in future videos. So, all right. So, hey, I'd appreciate that. Alien, you know that I have done, and I'm willing to do anonymous interviews. I'm willing to obscure the identity of interviewees in order to maintain their anonymity, and even to go to extreme measures of vocoding and voice masking in order to maintain their anonymity. That's fine by me, as long as we get the questions answered. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you got it. Go ahead and reach out to them. Okay, so staking, their proof of stake algorithm reduces centralization risks. Okay, network nodes will increase as Lenda grows. Staking. Alrighty, so staking and mining 101, proof of work 101. Hey, thanks, Hero Y. I'm trying to streamline my schedule so that I can go live more and I can have more projects on the show live more and also produce more content. That's why I'm in the studio. That's why I've got some of the optimizations for the studio that you see is for production, right? To create more of this content for you. This matters. I think it really matters, right? We've got about 1,800 active projects that we know of. There could be anywhere between 2,500 to 4,500 projects that are currently in development that just aren't on exchanges and just aren't really visible, right? So I could do 5 coin projects a day and still not catch up in the next 3 years. Hypothetically, right? At the rate of new coin project and fork and ICO development, this could basically never be done. Nice. So the beard is vouching for Jin. Very cool. And encrypted messaging. The Lenda wallet comes with an encrypted messaging system. This is something that I think is an interesting development as well. Guys, encryption and encrypted messaging is not new. You probably already know this for this audience. Encrypted messaging is not a new phenomenon, right? And it's fine as a proof of concept or as an early MVP to say, look, we developed something as a team. This is our offering. But if you're going to do that, I'm becoming more and more convinced that you need to focus on UX. It has to be something people actually enjoy using that maintains privacy, but then also would foster adoption outside of the crypto and blockchain space. Case in point, Telegram. They did not start with blockchain. They did not start with crypto. They started with encrypted messaging first, and it works. It's not broken. I mean, their encrypted messaging works just fine. Same with the encrypted messaging built into Zoom. So the Zoom chat and the Zoom audio and video that I just did with the beard, fully encrypted end to end. That doesn't require blockchain. So it's cool. It's cool that it's there. Okay, Roderick is saying Lindacoin appears to still be in search of developers. I think you're right. I think they've got some cool ideas here, and I think that they just can't quite execute to the fullest until they get more developers on board. Kudos to Filip again in today's interview, admitting the need for more development on their team, more developers on their team. As they're a community-driven project, much like Bitcoin Z and some of the other projects that I've had on the show, I can definitely recommend. You're going to learn a ton about blockchain by working on blockchain if you are an intermediate developer. So reach out to some of these projects, cut your teeth on some awesome projects, and contribute some awesome code to some public repos so your name lives on forever in those repos. But Lenda right here, they don't appear to have much. So they've got the onion router built in. Hidden transaction. Oh, transaction hidden. Transaction visible. This reminds me a lot of Verge. It does, but Verge's was broken apparently. Bitcoin doesn't use Tor. Yeah, this is interesting. Proud to announce hot swaps. Atomic swaps are becoming outdated. Hot swaps are the future, and it's coming. It's coming, and it's coming in waves. Hey, Ninja Jeff. Welcome. Glad to have you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being here to watch our banter. At this point, it's post-interview banter. The main event was Filip Bunkins, aka The Beard, with the REDEN project. So thank you for stopping by to watch me banter a little bit more about a couple of the projects. This is impromptu. Somebody mentioned in the comments about Linda Coin. Taking a look. It looks like, yes, they're an idea in search of execution. I'm going to say that. They are listed, however, and they are trading. So that's awesome. So the Linda X token platform is a decentralized platform used for creating and so the Linda X platform, again, it's not application level blockchain, but it is platform level blockchain, it looks like. So digital assets and currencies. It's not necessarily meant for applications. W3 Mechanics, yes, that is the prerequisite. You must have a beard to be interviewed on the show. Gosh darn it, I already interviewed Christy. Too late. So Linda X token platform is comprised of a set of tools and commands that helps people put all necessary aspects of regulations and blockchain technology together efficiently. It would create the infrastructure for companies to issue their securities on the blockchain in an easy-to-use application. Interesting. Yeah, Thomas just hit the nail on the head. Guys, we live in a code-centered world. So and I'm going to use an example from real life, not going to name names, but an example of somebody who is a former coworker of my brother's. I have two brothers who are full stack developers, and one works in an email software company called Emma. And he has a coworker that went from Emma over to ClickFunnels. If you've ever heard of ClickFunnels, it's a web building platform. Yep. Love it. There, guys, thanks for keeping the Discord chat alive there. I've got Brandon Coin and the Beard talking about how to mine REDEN Coin. Guys, keep it coming. So you're still the main event of the show. So, but I've got a brother who works for Emma as a software developer and had a coworker who went over to ClickFunnels as a software developer. They're paying him. Gosh, I can't even say it because now you could probably check to see who's the newest on the team. But I'll put it this way. Just like Thomas said, he had strong incentive to leave his other job and go over to a new job. As a full stack developer, they were like, you basically can't ignore this offer. And he was like, yep, hey, you're right. Where you need me to move? Idaho? Or like, you want me to move to like Kazakhstan? I don't care because you're paying me enough. So it is pretty tough. Oh, Alien, not only does Christy have a pickaxe made from a GPU, if you've ever been in any of my Microsoft trainings when I worked as a senior national trainer for them, or if you've ever seen any of the content that I had to put out for them, there are nature issues two natural signs of leadership. One is a beard. The other one is being female. So if you got one of those two things, you're probably a leader. Anything in between, you got to start resorting to like weird hacks. Like you got to wear a cool hat or you have to like, wear round glasses like Harry Potter, or you have to get a tattoo of like, Danger Mouse on your neck or something. See, these are other ways you can try to build authority, but Mother Nature pretty much just issues those two. Either be a lady or be a man. That's so messed up. Guys, that's so messed up. Obviously, I spent the majority of my life without a beard, and I still felt like I was probably a man most of that time. I'm trying not to question all of my life choices now, but that's just a joke. Don't take it too seriously. Hey, there you go, Roderick. You hit the nail on the head. When you're writing the checks, nobody can argue. You're the boss. So sure sign of leadership there too. All right, so Linda X tokens. I think they're trying to create an application level blockchain here, which is lofty, but I don't know what evidence they have of that actually working. So they're on exchanges right now, though. They're on Coin Exchange, Cryptopia. Exchange among the more notables. GraviX, they're on. Stocks Exchange, they're on, but these are a lower barrier to entry, right? There are a lot of very small market cap coins on Stocks Exchange and GraviX. Great for some of the coins that you can't trade anywhere else. But then, yeah, Bitflip, Nanex. All right. So they are listed on several exchanges. So that's good. Transfer of ownership, team building, marketing, communication. We are compiling a team of dedicated experts from within the Lindacoin community who can efficiently guide the project towards prosperity. They are not really speaking very clearly here. Jaroslav, you hit the nail on the head. The bearded lady from The Greatest Showman is perhaps the best leader the world has ever known. New wallet, new algorithm. Alien, you're not wrong. I've got to say that I'm a married man and I am devoted to my wife. I have one of the best marriages of anybody I know. And I'm not saying that to brag. And I'm not saying that to like compensate for anything. I am very secure in my relationship with my wife. And I love the work that we put into being a good husband-wife duo, right? Really good committed relationship. But when I was training for AT&T back in the day, and I had to go to an event where I had to pitch on behalf of a project that Ralph de la Vega, the CEO of AT&T Mobility, was really interested in, because he was the chairman of this other project, side project, and he came by and checked out the pitch and asked me to do it again a couple of times. Didn't like hang out or anything. We didn't like go get lunch or anything. Hey Seth, what's going on? Come hang out with me and talk about AT&T Mobility and all of our business. But it was cool that he was there. It's cool that we interacted a bit. And at that trade show, after he came to check out the booth that I was at and make sure that we were on message and everything, some of these other gals from the other booths, and they're working in marketing, right? So it attracts a certain type of individual. They like from across the auditorium walked over because they saw a beard. From that distance, you can't really tell what somebody looks like, but they saw a beard and they were like, that guy must be a leader. They walked over and they were like, are you a leader? That wasn't really what they said, but they showed some interest, and I'm like, hi, nice, pleased to meet you, professional acquaintance. Because I'm really secure in that relationship with my wife. I'm not looking for anything else. I don't need anything else. I'm very happy with that relationship. But it was funny because it was probably the first 6 months that I had grown a beard, and it was like, ooh, you have a beard. Like, wow, it's really not that exciting. I just didn't shave for like a month, and it just appeared. Like, it's not that big a deal. Thomas, I appreciate it. So I probably should talk about the Linda project. Probably should wrap things up because I don't want to take away from, I don't want to take away too much from Philippe's interview, right? Roderick, no, yeah, right. She didn't smell enough fiat on me, and she walked away. More exchange listings, merchant acceptance. These are issues that a lot of projects that I'm talking to are talking about, right? And yeah, and it's really, I'm just seeing it everywhere, right? We want more merchant acceptance. We want more exchange listings. We want a new and or better wallet. But right here, what I'm seeing on their roadmap that has me maybe a little bit concerned is where they say team building, marketing, and communication. Essentially what they're saying is they're pushing to Thomas, that anecdote was all it took. All right, buddy. Yeah, cool. That anecdote was all it took for him to be like, all right, the beard's coming back. Watch out, ladies. Thomas getting the beard back. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned by the roadmap. The white paper is a little bit sparse for my taste. I'm not super happy with this. I would have to interview a member of their technical team to feel like I'm getting solid answers on what the action items are, what they're really going to do to put any of these goals into a meaningful roadmap of tasks, right? Where they can actually achieve and execute on this vision. So, all right, guys. That's what I'm going to say about Lindacoin because it came up in the comments today. I'm going to drop that close. It's great that they're still going. One of the first orders of business when launching any kind of a tech project, you've heard me say it before, comes from the startup world. Don't die. That's number one, right? So they're still alive. They can still correct course. But I'm a little bit concerned by how sparse their white paper is. I think I want to see a little more substance there. And then also by the fact that I read both in the comments, and I see there that there's not really much of a development team. That has me concerned. So if anybody knows the team over there and they can set up a developer interview for me, that'd be awesome. I'd be happy to have Linda Coin on the show. For right now, I'm a little bit concerned about this. I'm a little bit concerned about putting support behind it if you're looking at possibly mining it. Then again, it's an ASIC coin anyway. It's an Scrypt coin ASIC anyway. And you might be able to do really good returns by doing a hash rate bomb using nice hash. I can't believe I'm saying that on the show, guys. But because it is an ASIC coin, you might be better off, if you're a GPU miner, you might be better off renting hash power, or you might be better off mining a good coin that gives you the ability to use Scrypt from nice hash or similar to work on that. All right. So just a little bit of background on Filip. This is his website, thebeard.be. You can see a little more about what he does outside of blockchain here. There he is. That's where I got his image, and I chopped it up for a cool thumbnail graphic for this show. And he works with, he works with the Russian. Hashtag, who is the Russian? All right. Please don't make that trend on Twitter. That would be embarrassing. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the show in just a minute here. I love that we were able to see REDEN Coin up close and personal. I love that we have it on the Technicals pool. So go ahead and check it out over there if you're not already mining it and you're interested in mining it. I'm not necessarily endorsing that you do, but I would say that go with the Technicals pool if you want to try it out. They're on X16S. So the next time that we have Luke Pighetti on the show, we can ask him about it and say, hey, did you know that REDEN Coin is using X16S? This will be super cool. Filip says that we are the Beard and the Russian. So awesome. Loved having him on the show. Loved having such a great show talking about REDEN Coin. The white paper guy, it's here, and their roadmap doesn't seem pie in the sky. And what they're talking about in terms of breaking down the technology doesn't seem like it's overly lofty. And I would strongly recommend that you also do your own due diligence. Check out the white paper. It's pretty much plain there. Their Discord is plain. Like Filip said, he's a public figure. He doesn't hide anywhere, so you can definitely find him. So go ahead and check that out. Really appreciate him coming on to the show. Once again, guys, you're the reason I do this. You see right here that the channel analytics have grown. We hit more than 3,000 subscribers not too long ago. So this is for you. Or maybe not. There it is. Applause. They love you. Guys, you're the reason I do this. I love your face. If you want me to speak at Digital Currency Con, or if you want me to promote Digital Currency Con because I'm speaking there, and I'm not yet, but I could be, perhaps reach out to them. Let me know, should I go? Should I try to attempt coverage of Digital Currency Con? Very small event out in Park City, Utah, coming up on July 13th and 14th. The REDEN Discord link, guys, somebody go ahead and do a solid, put the REDEN Discord link down in the comments. I'll make sure that it gets approved. I've approved links down in the comments now, so somebody go ahead and submit that on behalf of the Beard, so that we can definitely get you directed over to their project. But let me know what you think about Digital Currency Con. If you thought it was worth it, if you thought it was Dynamite, thank you. Dynamite, thank you so much. I'm working on some really interesting stuff. You want to see something cool? So I even have outro music. You're the reason I do this, guys. I love your face. See you next time.